I now drive all over the UK, and driving has given me so much independence, but learning to drive wasn't that easy for me. Now, I was very lucky that my granddad was the person who taught me to drive, and before he took me onto the roads, he took me to a few car parks so I could learn the basics of driving before I went onto the main roads, which was really brilliant. However, when I went to take my test, I only actually passed on my sixth test. However, the sixth test was my first test in a car without gears, so an automatic. And what it meant was that I had less things to think about when I was driving, which is why I think I passed on my very first test in an automatic. Because in all the other 5 tests that I'd taken, although I wasn't getting many minors, I was always doing one major thing wrong that was causing me to fail. And it was only my mum who suggested that I should try driving in a car without gears. So I actually passed my test in her automatic car. Now, although learning to drive was a lot harder than it was for some of my friends and even my family, because, for instance, my dad and my granddad both only took one test to pass, I actually think that I'm a much safer driver because I have a very black and white way of thinking and won't do anything wrong in the car. So while some people might go slightly over the speed limit or stop on a double yellow line if one of the passengers just wants to quickly hop out, I won't go anything over the speed limit or stop on any double yellow line for any length of time, even if it's only a few seconds. Also, when I'm in a car park, a lot of spaces I find are quite tight, and if I'm a bit nervous about getting into a certain space, then I'll just find another one. So although learning to drive took me a lot longer than most people, I actually think that being autistic has actually made me a much safer driver. So whilst there are or were negatives of having autism when it comes to driving, there are also certainly lots of positives of having autism when it comes to driving.